How much is a background check? In this video, we're going to go over all the options that people have at their disposal at the state level to do a background check, and how much money it typically costs to do a background check. So let's select the state of Maryland for this example, and maybe Georgia. And most states will have a very similar process, and in terms of how much a background check is going to cost, it will vary from state to state. So it all depends on what the background check is being done for. In some cases, you could do a quick search of court records, for example, in a particular state, and you might not pay any money for it. In another case, you might need to check criminal records within a particular state, and maybe it might run you 15, 20, 30 bucks. Just depends on if you want to in-state only, or if you want to do the nationwide check. And then you have different kinds of background checks where they look at even more additional data sources on top of the criminal records, on top of the court records. Maybe they're looking at driving records, maybe they're looking at civil records, lawsuits, financial records. Maybe they're calling around and verifying information that can only be verified if you actually physically speak to somebody. So the price range can vary greatly. It just all depends on what the background check is done for, how much detail and how much time needs to go, and how many man hours sometimes need to go into the background check. What I'm going to go over today is background checks you have available at the state level, and we're going to look at the price ranges. So starting off, you have, let's just grab the state of Georgia, and they have a very simple one. So they have your essentials when it comes to background checks: court records, recorder's office, criminal records, driving records, business lookup, sexual offender registry, maybe jail records, property records if you're looking for mailing addresses, things like that. So half of these databases can be researched for free at the state level, but just as an example, every state will give you some kind of a criminal record check within that state. So in the case of Georgia, they'll let you look at felony records. Now you might have lesser level crimes that are not classified as felonies, and it looks like it doesn't necessarily pick those up. So this thing only checks serious offenses, and it could be done very quickly. All you need is a name, a date of birth, and they'll charge you like $15 to do this check. And this is, like I said, limited to felony records and the state of Georgia. In other cases, like in Maryland, you have a very similar service provided by the state, but it has a wide range of options that it offers you. Anything from a basic in-state criminal check to fingerprinting. And let me actually just scroll down. So take a look at each page and see what they offer. A lot of times they'll give you the price breakdown. That's why it's hard to say how much a background check is, just because it's going to vary from even state to state, and not even mentioning what the background check is for. So for instance, state of Georgia was $15 for a simple check, which was limited to felony records. There could be misdemeanor records, things like that, which are lesser level crimes, and some people want to look at those too. So it was kind of limiting. Like for instance, Maryland has a state-only check. It's going to be about $18. If you want to do a state and an FBI is kind of like a nationwide database for criminal records. Pretty much anytime somebody, I think, gets fingerprinted, it goes into some kind of a database. And to do a background check, the FBI check and the state check, it's about $31.25 with at least the state of Maryland. Now this will change from state to state, like I said. So it's hard to say how much a background check is, but if you're just looking to do something at the state level, it could be looking anywhere from $15 to $30. As soon as you make it more, as soon as you want to make it more detail, if you're looking at multiple databases, if it requires a person to verify information, sometimes court records need to be physically accessed, and they might need to hire somebody to go to the court office and get digital records. Now, this will all depend on what the background check is for. So, but for the very basic, for just a state-only criminal check, I'm going to say the average is anywhere between 15 to 30 bucks, maybe slightly higher. And if you want to, you can also do a court records check. And a lot of times the court records, at least the dockets, could be researched for free. So it just depends how deep you want to go, how much time you want to spend, but you could technically save even more money and go through court records. And if you need a little bit more information, you could go into various other databases like sexual offender registry. You can look at prison records. You could look at jail records at the county level. We have also things like warrant searches. We have specific pages for court records that you could look at, and each of these databases will offer something unique, and it will allow you to get a little bit deeper and see a little bit more into someone's historic past. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link for sheriffsdepartment.net in the description. You can also just type it into your browser and come on down and see what all the options you have available in your state, in your county, to do background checks.